Hello and welcome to Munich International School. My name is Denise from the Admissions Office and I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you all to our virtual open day today. It's lovely to have so many of you joining us today from many parts of the world, including Australia, Croatia, Brazil, the UK, US, and just to name just a few. We have a packed agenda for you today. Over the next hour, you'll receive a warm welcome from our head of school, Mr. Timothy Thomas. Our principals from our junior, middle and senior school will also introduce themselves and provide an overview of their school sections. And in addition, our junior school principal, Mr. David Freed, will introduce you to Mr. Sebastian Spinner, who is a parent at MIS and has 2 children in our junior school. Additionally, throughout this next hour, you will also be able to submit questions to us via the online chat for answering during our Q&A session. I would recommend listening to the open day for quite a while, because I'm sure that a lot of your questions that you have will be answered during today's session, whether it's a question regarding languages, after-school activities, transportation, orientation for children starting at MIS. I'm sure we'll be able to provide a lot of answers to your questions, but again, please feel free to post your questions in the chat and my colleagues will answer them throughout the session. To help today's session run as smoothly as possible, we have muted everyone's microphones and cameras, disabled the cameras. So if you do have any questions, please use the chat function. Finally, a reminder that today's session is being recorded and we will be able to email this recording to you after today's session. There is just one other point to make. We've just been informed just before we started on the transmission, and that's through telecom that over the next 3 hours, there may be some interruptions to our communications throughout this for the next hour. If by chance our transmission does break, then please stay with us and we'll resume our transmission just as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, that's out of our hands. But hopefully we can get through this next hour as smoothly as possible. So right now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you and hand you over to our head of school, Mr. Timothy Thomas. Over to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Denise. So hello to everybody. Welcome to Munich International School. My name is Tim Thomas, and I have the privilege of being the head of school of this wonderful institution. I am a US American, but I've lived in Germany for over 20 years. I studied at the Ludwig-Maximilians-Universität, and I speak German and English. I've been at Munich International School for 10 years. It's a place that I love. And I love talking about Munich International School, but today I have the task of sharing some general information about the school with you, and then I'll turn you over to our 3 principals who will tell you more specific information about our junior school, our middle school, and our senior school. So I would like to share a few slides with you. I'll be going through some information relatively quickly, but it's to give you an overview of some of the topics that people most commonly ask us about here at the school. So just one moment while I get this up and running. So hopefully you now see the slides, and let me try to clear up my desktop as much as possible. Great. So we are Munich International School. You can see the 3 words down there below the title. Those are 3 words that mean a lot to our school. So about 10 years ago, we went through a process of really trying to define who we are as a school and what we hope to achieve with all of the children who attend Munich International School. And we narrowed that down to 3 verbs that really describe what we hope to be doing with everybody who joins our community. And that's nurture, challenge, and inspire. And those 3 words guide a lot of our work at the school as we're changing curriculum, as we're hiring new people to join our community, as we're thinking about the future. We always come back to those 3 words: nurture, challenge, and inspire. So here's one of our buildings that's really a symbol of our school. That's our Schloss. our palace. It's a modest palace, but it is a building that really symbolizes our school and that kids think about and that alumni think about when they think back to Munich International School. So what I'd like to share with you today is some information about our school as a leading international baccalaureate or IB World School. I'd like to share a little bit about our academic results. I'd also like to talk about the fact that we're not just about academics, but in fact, we have a holistic values-based learning environment. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our warm, welcoming international community. And then finally, share a little bit about something special about our school, and those are our grounds and our facilities that our students and our teachers enjoy. So first of all, I need to tell you about our faculty and staff. And that's because I think anybody who knows about schools understands that the quality of an education that a school can share can never be greater than the quality of the teachers and the staff. So we spend a lot of time ensuring that we have faculty and staff who embody our values and who have some very specific characteristics that they share with our students. So when we're looking for new faculty and staff, we have a very specific profile. We very much want teachers who are caring, who are highly competent, who are committed to the children in their care, who are, based on the kind of school we are, culturally respectful people, and teachers who are happy, positive people who want to make learning enjoyable for students and for themselves. And you can see there some of our students together with some of our teachers on a ski weekend. Now, those teachers and the education that they provide lead to some excellent academic results. So here you can see a picture of one of our recent graduating classes at graduation, and they have reason to celebrate because they've done very well. So at the end of grade 12, our students participate in examinations that lead to a qualification called the IB diploma. And in most years, nearly 100% of our students will participate in the full IB diploma program. Now, the highest possible score a student can attain in the IB diploma is 45 points. And out of 45, students will achieve a certain number of points based on their performance in 6 academic subjects, as well as in the extended essay, CAS, and in all of the different elements that contribute to that score. So out of 45, the average score for our students last year was 37. And to give some comparison, the global average score in the IB at international schools around the world was 32. So you can see that our students did on average much better than at average international schools around the world. And we had 3 students who scored a perfect 45 points. And we had 19 students who scored 42 points or better out of the 45. And that equals a Durchschnittsnote in the German system of a 1.0. 100% of the students in last year's class passed the full IB diploma, and that compares to a global pass rate of 82%. So last year's class, but also the classes that came before, really made us very proud. They scored very well in the IB diploma, and that signifies to us that the education that we're providing is really preparing them to be successful at university. We have another set of assessments that students take at the end of grade 10, and that's the MYP E assessments. The E stands for electronic because these are assessments that are very interactive and are taken over the computer. Again, in the IB grade 10 assessment, students have an opportunity to score up to 54 points. And our students last year had an average score of 43.9. To give you a point of comparison, the global average was 37.7. Now, we are a non-selective school, so this is with a general population of students that we've admitted to the school. And in both grade 12 and grade 10, we have more than 100 students who will take these examinations. We had a subject average of 5.5 out of 7, and 94% of students were successful in receiving the MYP certificate. And that compares to a global pass rate of 80%. And the MYP certificate is recognized as the Mittlere Reife in Germany. The IB diploma is recognized as Abitur or as the Allgemeine Hochschulreife. But we're not all about academics. That is a big part of what we do, but our students are also very active in a wide variety of cultural, artistic, and athletic pursuits. And that's part of our co-curricular program or our student life program. So that program includes more than 60 after-school activities, ASAs, that take place in 3 seasons, autumn, winter, and spring. It includes classes in visual arts, drama, music, and film. It includes lots of musical pursuits. We have strings groups, we have choirs, bands, and an orchestra. It includes lots of athletics. So we have football, volleyball, cross country, tennis, rugby, and track and field. And then lots of other high interest activities like sailing on Lake Starnberg, rowing, tree climbing, nature skills, ballet, pottery, computer coding, robotics, and just about anything that you can think of. Now, our community is very diverse. You can see some of our students standing there with their national flags. The MIS community is composed of approximately 1,250 students who come from 72 nationalities. We have about 230 staff, and they come from 27 different countries. And our school is a not-for-profit association. So Munich International School, e.V., or EV, there at the end of that name, that means that we're a not-for-profit association. It is the parents who are the association. It is the parents who are the board of directors. And everything that the school does must focus on the education of children, including any fees that we collect. All of it goes 100% back into the education of children. We have a very active parent-teacher Verein. So that's a parent-teacher association that works closely with the school and helps us organize a number of activities for our kids. We have something called the MIS Foundation, which is a culture and arts association that brings lots of artists and authors to the school who interact with our students. We have a Sportverein that allows us to engage with local sports associations. We have the Tanzania Project, which is a long-standing association with a certain region of Tanzania. For over 35 years, we've been sending students in the summer to Tanzania. They take lots of charitable things with them. They learn from the local community. And that's a really strong partnership that we have with a different part of the world. And finally, when people leave our school, they become part of our Alumni and Friends Association. And we have, for example, a portal where you can look at a map of the world and see where thousands of former MIS students and their families are currently living. When you leave our community, if you go on to Melbourne or Tokyo or Brasilia, you can look in this database and see that you probably have other MIS alumni who are already at that place ahead of you. Something that is special about our campus is where it is located and how large it is and how much it's integrated into nature. So it's worth talking just a little bit about the place MIS. So here you can see an aerial view of our campus. It really is a beautiful setting. We are in the middle of a nature preserve. We're less than a kilometer away from Lake Starnberg. You can see the northern part of Lake Starnberg here in that picture. And we're just about 800 meters outside the city limits of the city of Starnberg. So our campus includes 25 acres of play spaces, athletic fields, and nature paths. We have an Olympic 8-lane track and field. That's quite unusual for an international school. So the European track and field finals are held almost every year at MIS because we're one of the few schools in Europe that can do such a thing. We have a new quadruple sports hall with a dance studio and a fitness center. We have a performing arts center, which is a large theater where students put on plays and concerts. We have a maker's laboratory and a maker's space, so 2 separate spaces where students can engage with engineering concepts and with all kinds of different hands-on activities. We have innovative science and technology laboratories. We have a full-service cafeteria with a kitchen that cooks daily fresh organic meals. And we have a transportation service organized by a full-time director of transportation. I'd like to share just a little bit about some of our strategic developments as a school. So we are aiming to use our local environment, the mountains, the lakes, and the forest more and more in our curriculum and in our activities that we offer to students. We are progressively implementing universal design for learning, which is a pedagogical approach that ensures that teachers have the tools they need to reach all of the learners in their room, the gifted students, the students who may be more average in their academic attainment, and those who may need extra support. We are implementing coding, computing, and structured thinking across all sections of the school. We are looking to include more ways for students to give feedback to their teachers about the learning that's working and what could be better. We are enhancing our links to the real world, including more collaborative projects with different companies, for example, who are in our local region. And we're trying to make learning as relevant, important, meaningful, and manageable as possible for all of our students. So the last thing that I'll say is just to address briefly this question of why MIS. So parents often come to me and they say, you're the director of Munich International School. Tell us why. Why would a student or a family want to choose MIS? So these are my personal reasons. I'm really proud of the way that we can integrate students' individual interests, needs, and goals into our curriculum. So unlike a lot of national curricula where everybody's in lockstep and there's a very clear series of units that teachers must do, whether or not it's relevant, whether or not students need it, whether or not students want it, we have a curriculum that's flexible, that allows us to pursue clear goals, but also allows us to pay attention to the students who are in the room and make sure that what we're doing integrates their interests, their needs, and their prior experiences. We have truly outstanding teachers, many of whom are IB authors, IB examiners, IB curriculum leaders, and workshop leaders. So our teachers are often the people who are helping to create IB curriculum. They're the people who are leading other teachers to learn how to deliver the IB curriculum, and they're the people who are here working directly with our students. We have an engaging, future-oriented curriculum that includes lots of inquiry, technology, making, innovation, and multimodal literacies. But it's also a holistic education, and we have lots of time for social and emotional learning that's embedded directly in our curriculum. The arts, creativity, innovation, and inquiry play a large role in everything we do. We're on a 25-acre park-like campus on a nature preserve, which makes this a wonderful place to spend time. And we have a welcoming, truly international community. So that was a lot of information very quickly, but I hope it's given you an overview of who we are and what we value and what we prioritize. Turn off the presentation here. There we go. So, and our three principals will give you some more specific information about what school might look like in our primary school, our middle school, and our senior school. And so at this time, without further ado, I will hand you over to our primary school principal, our junior school principal, and that's Mr. David Freed.
Very good. Thank you very much, Tim. Welcome, prospective families and everyone joining us today. Again, my name is David Freed. I'm the principal in the junior school, and that represents the students who are ages 4, so all the way up through 4th grade, so our early childhood through 4th grade. I'm an American as well. This is my 11th year here at MIS. It's been a truly fabulous experience, not just for me as a principal. I'm also a parent. My youngest is now in 11th grade, and my 2 older children have also already graduated and are either living and working or attending university in the United States. I would like to tell you a little bit about the junior school, and I'd certainly be happy to answer questions either at the end of the presentation today or at some later date. MIS is really a great place. It's really quite amazing to see the students come into the building each day excited to learn and excited to see their friends and to be a part of our community. The days generally start with our students joining their homeroom, so a group of students that they spend the majority of the time with, in what we call a morning meeting, like a morning session talking about the calendar for the day, what events to look forward to. It's also an opportunity where we help our students develop communication skills, develop conflict resolution skills, play games, learn about trust, and learning more about their classmates. It's truly a great way to start the day from that first morning meeting, which takes place Monday through Friday for about 15 or 20 minutes. The students will either continue in their homerooms to learn language, mathematics, their units of inquiry on a range of subjects, and they also attend German lessons daily. Throughout the week as well, they have physical education classes, art, music, any number of specialists who teach our students, some wonderful single subject lessons and opportunities for students to become very well-rounded and certainly balanced in their learning. It is, as I said, as Mr. Thomas said, MIS is truly a world leader, and that certainly goes for our PYP program. The primary years program is one of 1,000 schools around the world offering the program, and many of the teachers in the junior school are also workshop leaders and curriculum developers. One of the questions I often receive from prospective parents has to do with students, their children learning English as an additional language. And I want everyone to know that it's very common that most of our students start in the junior school learning English, either as beginners or as what we may call intermediate students, and that's perfectly fine. We have a very strong and robust system of helping our students develop the basic communication skills they need as quickly as possible to understand the instruction and to be able to communicate with their friends and with their classmates, as well as with the teachers. And over the course of their time in the junior school, they also develop the academic language skills in English. We have one additional full-time teacher at each grade level who supports English language development. And all of our teachers, whether they're a PE teacher for physical education or art or music, have the skills and the knowledge to help our students develop their language skills. So rest assured, if your children are learning English as an additional language, there's certainly support for them here at our school. We also have a program, which we call Learning Support, for students who may need a little extra boost, whether it's with their reading, with their phonics skills, with their mathematics. And that support can sometimes happen in the classroom. It can also happen in small groups outside of the classroom. We do monitor the progress of all of our students, and when we feel that students need a little extra help, an extra boost, of course, we inform parents, but then also we provide the support that's needed. On our campus as well, at all times, we have at least one registered nurse, a professional nurse who's qualified to provide medical care to our students, as well as our teachers and staff, and is a wonderful resource for parents as well. We in the junior school have many of our students, upwards of between a quarter and 1/3 of our students participating in after school activities, after school care, a student life program, allowing our students to stay in school after dismissal from 3:15 till 4:15, sometimes later all the way till 4:30 for early childhood. This provides some flexibility for parents who want an extended day experience for their children. And it also provides students an opportunity to participate in so many of the student life activities, which as much as I think the school day is quite fun for our students, they certainly look forward to robotics and ceramics and basketball, dance, any number of activities that they participate in after the regular school day. Throughout your experience as parents here in the junior school and across MIS, we certainly like to work as partners with you in the education of your children. One of the ways that we do that, we involve parents in the progress and the making sure that parents feel included in the day-to-day operations of our school. One means of doing so is a program that we call Seesaw. It's like an online portfolio, a communication tool where parents can see examples of their children's work. They can hear recordings and see reflections of their children talking about the progress they've made, what challenges they've encountered in some of their learning. And it's also a direct communication tool with our teachers. We also host in our school a series of workshops. We call them parent-principal forums to help parents better understand the curricula, how we teach, what subjects we teach, as a way to help parents understand the International Baccalaureate. Our most recent parent-principal forum was on the topic of physical health and education. We actually held the forum in our new facility, the Fitness Activity Building, and then we were able to tour through the fab and to observe classrooms and to discuss the type of instruction we have in PE. These are the types of workshops that we lead monthly, and we like to include parents so that they feel like, as I said, partners in what's going on here in school. Another part of our communication model here in the junior school is around inviting parents in for casual coffees and meetings to talk about anything that may be of concern to parents, questions they have. Tomorrow morning, for example, I'll be meeting with a group of parents who are coming in the morning, and I think on the topic will be, or on the list of topics, will be our upcoming student-led conferences. In a few weeks' time, our students will take the lead in meeting with their parents to talk about the progress they're making, how they are attaining their goals, and what their next steps are in their learning. So between parent-principal forums, between principals' coffees, as well as conferences, which involve the students and parents, we like to make sure that parents have a good understanding of the education of their children. MIS is also very fortunate because not only do we have a strong curricula and amazing teachers and assistants who support the education of the students, but we also have a range of other people, including a full-time assistant principal who oversees the development, the pastoral development, academic, social, and emotional progress of students. We also have a curriculum coordinator, somebody who meets with the teacher teams to look at the assessments and look at the assessment data to determine how best to structure learning for students and what learning would be exciting for the kids and how to bring the learning alive. We also have a school counselor in the junior school as well as in the other sections who could be available to work with students on an as-needed basis, but also to work with students around conflict resolution skills to help all students feel capable of resolving conflicts, but also feeling supported. So in summary, as I like to say, there's something and someone for everybody here in the junior school and across MIS, and I certainly hope you find this presentation helpful. At this time, I'd like to introduce a parent who is in the junior school, Mr. Spinner. Sebastian, are you there? Ah, there he is. Hi, welcome. Sebastian, hi, good to see you again. Maybe I could ask you to introduce yourself and talk about the children that you have in our school right now.
Yes, thanks, David. So my name is Sebastian Spinner. I'm 48 years old. I'm married. We have 2 kids. Our son, Frederick, he's 9 years old. He's in 4th grade at MS. Our daughter, Leonie, she is 7 years old and is in 2nd grade. We are all Germans. Both kids were born in Starnberg. So me, myself, I worked internationally, but we have actually no real international background. We are Germans.
Very good. Thank you. Thinking back, your son Frederick started, it's almost hard to believe it's been this long, but he started in our early childhood program in the EC56. Maybe you could tell the group the reasons why you chose MIS in this international experience for Frederick and then later Leonie.
Yeah, Frederick, as he became 5, he went to a regular kindergarten. And we had the feeling he was kind of bored there. So we looked for alternatives and found out that, first of all, MIS is close by. And secondly, that they also have early childhood care. So I wasn't aware of that. I thought it starts at 1st grade. But so we called MIS and had a nice appointment with the admissions team, and they showed us everything. They told us about the curriculum, about academic concept. And to be honest, we fell in love with the school because it's an absolutely nice place. So we decided to send him to early childhood.
Very good.
And now it's his 5th year.
That's right, exactly. Maybe you could speak a little bit too about the transition. As you mentioned, you're a German-speaking family. How was it for your children and even for yourselves to adapt to an English-speaking environment, knowing that they would continue to develop their German during German lessons as well?
So both kids had no idea of English as they went to MIS, and I'm sure it was a little bit tough for Frederick at the beginning, because he didn't really had a chance to express himself. But it was not that of a big problem because all teachers also speak German. So at least they could understand him. But he had quick support with English lessons. And if you have a whole day in English, they learn really, really fast. So right now they are really good in English. I'm sure they have not that much of a vocabulary native English kid would have in their age, but they're getting good along. It's really good. Yeah.
Certainly so. I would say the same. Maybe you could talk to the group as well about how you've been able to monitor their progress in their learning and their development as students here in the school.
So you mentioned it before, there's this app Seesaw, which the school uses. So we get updates on the work the kids do. They upload some homework. We get emails through Seesaw every weekend, and the teacher tells us what the kids did over the week and what are the goals and what future homeworks there will be. So we are pretty much in the loop what's going on over the week. But what I personally like most is the student-led conferences. You mentioned it before. because we are invited to school and we have one-on-one appointments with the teachers, and they tell us what the kids do. The kids present their work, and so we are pretty much involved on what the kids are doing in school.
Okay, very good. That's coming up soon. Let's talk a little bit about Leonie now, who's in grade 2. How has the longer school day been for her, knowing that we start, the first bell rings at 9:05 and the regular school day ends at 3:15, and I know she's participated in activities until 4:15 and so on. How has that been for her?
So she started earlier. She started in EC 5-4. So for sure, it was a long day for her. She was exhausted when we picked her up, but she always was happy. And we are very lucky because kids love to go to MIS. So it's never a fight to get them there. They just want to go there. Most of the time. But they like school. And Leonie's day starts at 7:30. So she gets up, they get dressed, we get her to school. The school starts at 9:05. And we pick her up at 3 o'clock, 3:15, if she doesn't have after school activities. But most of the time she gets home very happy. So she can cope with the long hours.
Certainly. We know Frederick can too. Maybe you can talk a little bit about your children's experience with the after school activities, our student life program. What have been some of their favorite activities? What have they enjoyed about them?
So right now there's registration for the next season of after school activities, and Leonie, she will do gymnastics and graphic design. Frederick, he's in the sailing team, which is a 3-season activity. So it's spring season. I think it's its last activity now with sailing, which he loved a lot. Before they had, what Fred really liked was Lego robotics or Minecraft coding. So they built little Lego robots, they programmed these little things. They built a Minecraft world under a supervised environment. So it's all stuff we couldn't do at home or couldn't manage to do it without MIS. So they really loved it. And most of the time they like to go more to school if there's after school activity. So it's always an argument to get them to school.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Sebastian. Very helpful, and I'm sure the parents participating appreciated your perspective. So thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
Very good. And now for the group, I believe I have the honor of introducing and helping us transition to hear from our middle school principal. That's Miss Nathalie Millette. Nathalie, are you there and ready?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Nathalie Millette, and I am the middle school principal. I am Canadian, originally from Montreal, and I worked for about 20 years in IB schools in Toronto, where I taught history in both middle school and high school, and in both English and in French. And so I'm bilingual, English-French. I was also a curriculum coordinator, the director of teaching and learning, and most recently I was in Hong Kong, where my responsibility was to develop a new middle school program at the Canadian International School of Hong Kong. I'm really happy to have the opportunity today to tell you a little bit about our middle school. We have approximately 400 students in grades 5 to 8. We focus intensely on helping students to transition from elementary into a more secondary type of learning. And we accompany them as they go through all of the normal developmental and social changes that are associated with late childhood and early adolescence. Our program is intended to support students in both their academic and their social development throughout this time. In the middle school, we focus on 3 really key attributes, which we believe help students to be successful during this period of transition. The first one is ensuring that every student feels a sense of belonging. We know that students in middle school learn better when they feel a strong, positive connection to both their peers and their teachers. Students in middle school particularly need to feel heard by their teachers and supported by their classmates. This helps them to feel more confident at school and therefore allows them to learn better, because students who feel confident and supported are willing to take risks that are associated with more complicated learning. And so we spend a lot of time building those connections, ensuring that our students feel that sense of belonging so that they are confident in class. And we do that through a homeroom program where they have daily contact with their homeroom teacher, who is also one of their subject teachers. And we also do that through an ethics program. We have a school counselor who spends a lot of time working with students to ensure that every student has a good friendship group so that they feel that sense of belonging. Secondly, we spend significant focus on learning how to learn. That's different from the content of the various subjects that students are learning. We want them to really also understand those skills that are associated with becoming independent learners. And so we spend more time on that, because as they are moving closer to the more senior grades in high school, we want them to really be able to confidently use those skills so that they are then able later on to spend more time learning the more complex material in the more senior grades. So we spent a lot of time on things like organizational skills, time management, research skills, self-advocacy, so being able to ask for help, being able to reflect on what they're doing well and where are the areas of struggle so that they themselves know what they need to work on. We want our kids also to become critical and creative thinkers. So to be able to really think about why answers are correct, not just what the correct answer is, but why, to be able to justify, to be able to explain using examples, to be able to describe how the example supports their answer. So these are things that we spend a lot of time on through every subject. And the teachers in the various classes will structure explicit learning opportunities that will allow students to develop these learning tools. And lastly, we want students to begin to develop a sense of who they are as individuals and being able to honor their unique interests, the unique aspects of their personalities that allow them to be really interesting people. This is a period in pre-adolescence where children are going through significant personal growth and change, and also a time where their relationships will change and where they'll develop new interests. And we support that. We think it's a really good thing. And we encourage students by placing them in new situations, by offering them a variety of activities that they haven't done before, and then giving students opportunities to choose whether these are things that they want to continue doing or whether they prefer to gravitate towards other things. So in middle school, students begin to have some choices in terms of the courses that they will take that will allow them to nurture those interests. We also want kids to try things like try to grow their leadership skills through opportunities like the student council or being a house captain or leading activities, being an MC in our assemblies, for example. These are all things that can help students try out new things, see if it's something for them, and helps to grow the person that they want to become. Starting in grade 5, our students begin the IB Middle Years program. So you heard with David about the PYP, the primary years program, our students in grades 5 through 8, and then continuing into grade 10 are completing the middle years program. So in the middle years program, students study standalone subjects, so math, science, what we call individuals and societies, which is essentially social sciences or the humanities. They study them as individual subjects. However, in all of those subjects, there are some real world connections. There are themes and what we call global interactions that will connect the subjects together. And so students may be looking at a theme through the lens of science, and that same theme will come up again in their language class, for example. And so it allows students to be able to see how learning in different subjects works together to help them have a deeper understanding and a more complete understanding of some particular topics. We also focus on real world applications of learning. And we do this because we know that, at this age, students really like to see how they fit into the larger world. They want to become those active and engaged global citizens that we all want them to be. And so by helping them to look at how learning in math or in design or in German will help them to integrate into the world around them, it helps to engage students' interest and to sustain that interest. In addition to that, we focus on an inquiry model of learning, meaning that we encourage students to both ask complex questions and also to discover for themselves the answers to those complex questions. And so, whereas we obviously need them to have some basic knowledge, some factual knowledge, we really want them to use that knowledge to explain more complex questions. And so those questions that don't have a specific answer, we want kids to be able to think about, based on all of how they are understanding the information that they're learning, what is their answer to the question? And how can they justify that answer by using their learning? And how can they connect what they are learning in a particular subject, or their answer to an inquiry question in a particular subject, to other subjects as well? All of our students in the middle school continue to learn in both English and German, and they take either English or German either as a mother tongue language, where they study language and literature, or as an additional language. Starting in grade 6, our students also have the opportunity to add a third language, and they can study French, Spanish, or Mandarin. They have the opportunity in grade 6 to get a taste of either one or two of those languages, and then starting in grade 7, they will choose which of those 3 languages they want to study more deeply. Students can also or will also take design, and in design, they learn how to apply the design cycle to design products that will help them to complete a task or solve a problem. They also work through food design, in which they're learning how to apply culinary skills to design healthy, balanced meals. They love working in the kitchen. They also design robots. They spend time in our makerspace. They learn coding to apply coding language to solve design problems. And they also learn about being good digital citizens. This is a really important part of our curriculum. We have some specific digital citizenship classes, but in addition to that, we weave through the curriculum how to be a good digital citizen. Our students in grade 5 all have their own iPads. They use their iPads as a learning tool. We think that that's really important. We are preparing our students to join the adult world in which we work with technology on a daily basis. And so For middle school, iPads are really good tools because it allows students both to continue handwriting with a stylus if needed, to type as well, to use the iPad to complete research, to use the iPad as an interactive tool where they can record themselves, record their ideas, comment on other people's ideas, etc. And so as part of their learning, they are also learning to use the iPad at school as a learning tool, to be responsible when it comes to accessing social media, to be thoughtful when it comes to sharing their information publicly online. And so we work very closely with parents because, of course, one of the challenges of being a middle school student in 2023 is that there are a lot of distractions and a lot of things out there in the greater online world, both that can enhance their learning and that can be risky. And so we want our students to be well informed, to know what is the right thing to do, and to have a plan when they are faced with a decision that they have to make so that they can make the right choices. We have kids sometimes who don't make the right choices, and then what we do is we use those as learning opportunities to help them to make a better choice next time. Everything that I'm describing to you really shows that we focus on creating deep, authentic learning opportunities for students. We want learning to be fun so that kids can remain engaged and motivated to challenge themselves continuously throughout middle school. Just like in the junior school, we also have a learning support program. In the middle school, our learning support teachers work with students to help them to understand their unique learning needs. All students in middle school are learners who learn in different ways. And so we help our students to understand what is their best approach to learning so that they as individuals can be successful. We do also have students who will work more individually with some learning support teachers so that they can build more of those skills. And our learning support teachers are really experts in helping to identify and helping students to manage some identified learning needs that may revolve around literacy or about, for example, numerical understanding, that type of thing. Remaining focused is also a big challenge for some of our students. And so our learning support teachers will work with students both in class and also in helping teachers to tailor the program for each student. So that we can leverage their strengths and also help them to create some solutions to some of the challenges that they may have to become independent learners. Similarly, again, to the junior school, we have a strong team of English as an additional language teachers. Again, our teachers work both individually with small groups of students who are in the earlier phases of learning English so that they have the tools so that they can be successful in all of their classes. And they work with the teachers to also support language acquisition. Our students also have the opportunity to participate in a wide variety of clubs and after-school activities. During the school day, we have a newspaper club. We have a Lego club. Kids get to go and play with Lego. We have a student council. Some of our students, we have our house captains, and we have a strong house program, especially in the middle school, where kids compete in different houses in either athletic events or in presenting, for example, some singing or some musical numbers, that type of thing. All of this is run by our teachers. And then after school, there is a large variety of activities, as you heard from before, that students can sign up for. There really is something for every kid to harness their individual interests. So that is a little bit about our junior school. I think our junior school is a very active place. There's never a dull moment in the junior school. And with that being said, I will pass you on to our senior school principal, Mr. Carlsson. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathalie. My name is Anders Carlsson. I've been at MIS for 10 years. This is my 11th year, and I've been working at various international schools before this the best school I've ever been at. I'm originally Swedish. So senior school is grade 9 to 12, and grade 9 and 10, that is one unit or one entity, and grade 11 and 12 is this another one. In grade 9 and 10, you are still in the MYP, the middle years program, continuation from the middle school, and you study the normal subjects like English, German, math, science, humanities and PE, and then students can choose between a large number of sub-electives: French, Spanish, Mandarin, arts, drama, music, design, coding, and an additional humanities, digital science, and so on. At the end of grade 10, students sit external exams from the IB, and if they pass them, they get the Mittlere Schulabschluss in Germany. Grade 11 and 12 is the other entity. It's a diploma program. Here we also offer a large number of subjects. Students have to do 6 subjects in the IB, and we offer 52 choices for the students. After the courses are finished in grade 12, students sit final exams organized by the IB, external examinations, and for German students, this will be equivalent of the Abitur. Now, Tim talked about the after-school activities and the importance of those. I would like to stress them as well, because being a new student at MIS, that's the best way of learning to know students outside your own classrooms. And there are, as we have heard, lots of activities to choose from. That's all from me today, and then I hand back to Denise.
Okay, thank you, Anders. I do have a number of questions. I have been keeping an eye on the chat, and for my next question, I would just like to bring Nathalie back into the Open Day presentation, because I'll direct this question to Nathalie. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Is Nathalie coming back into the screen? I'm not sure if you can all hear me right now, but I will continue, and hopefully Nathalie can join me in a second. Hi, Tim.
We can hear you. All is good.
Okay, all right. So maybe I'll direct this question through to you, Tim, seeing as you're there right now. But one of the areas that you were mentioning earlier on your presentation was the importance of obviously our teachers, but also the strategic development of the school. And Nathalie, I'll come back to you first after Tim. One of the areas that we currently always strive for within our school is also how we're looking at the strategic development and also the development of the curriculum within the IB curriculum in terms of PYP, MYP and the IB curriculum. Would you like to just give our viewers an update or an overview of how MIS helps to influence and develop the IB curriculum for all schools throughout the world?
Sure, I could say just a few words. So MIS is one very long-standing international school among international schools. So we've been around for almost 60 years now. And we also adopted the IB's programs very early. And that means that teachers who are here, who have been here for a while, have had an opportunity to develop with the IB's programs. And so a number of them are active in helping to develop the workshops, in helping to develop the curricula, and helping to develop the assessments that the IB uses. We were the first school on the planet to introduce the MYP in grade 5. And we continue to be one of the only schools who does that. And so we have a number of schools who come to see what it looks like to have an MYP that starts in grade 5. We were one of the pilot schools, one of the first schools to offer the e-assessments in grade 10. So we've been running those longer than almost any school in the world. And many schools, again, come and look to see how it's done here at MIS to learn to do it themselves. Our teachers also travel other places. They sometimes are on teams that help other schools get the IB programs set up in their schools. They run workshops in various places around the world. And after the examinations are taken this May, they'll be very busy because many of them do the marking for the IB. So our teachers know the IB's programs really well, and it means they're also really good at supporting our kids to be very successful in the programs.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. And I will now bring Nathalie back into this. One of the questions I saw pop up on the chat was from Yasmin, who asked if her son could, a child could come into, I think it was grade 8 for this next school year. So one of the topics I wanted to discuss with you was the orientation of new students coming into school. Our normal biggest group of students starting is obviously in August, at the beginning of the school year, but nearly every month, including just today, we welcomed 4 new students starting at MIS. So I wonder if you could just give our viewers a little bit of a snapshot as to what orientation looks like for a new student starting, and if you could give that overview as to what that would look like for a child going into middle school, which is through grades 5 through to 8. Thank you, Nathalie. Nathalie, your microphone. Thank you.
Sorry, I think I have it by now. Here we go. Yeah. So yes, our biggest intake group of new students will happen in August. And so in August, prior to the first day of school, we have all new students participate in a new student orientation. On that day, they meet some of our current middle school students. They're paired up with a buddy. They have a tour of the school campus by our student volunteers. They meet their homeroom teachers. They find out a little bit about what the first day is going to look like. Every new student gets a buddy who is someone who will reach out to them in advance and just help to welcome them to the school. That first day is really a busy day on orientation. And then when they come back for the first day of school, they meet their buddy again, because their buddy is someone who is in their homeroom. So it does help to facilitate that first day, so that they know, where to go have lunch. They have a friend that they can eat lunch with. The buddy will make sure that they know how to get from class to class. So those are all things that our students are really, really good at doing. Our biggest problem is not finding buddies. Our biggest problem is that we have too many students who want to be a buddy. And so it is something that it really, really does facilitate it. We will have in each of the grades of the middle school in August several new students. So depending on the grade, that number will vary. But in grade 8, I would say that there would be at least 10 new students. So they're not alone. Throughout the school year, we don't have a standalone orientation day, but on the first day of school, the student will be brought to the middle school by someone from admissions. They meet our middle school student secretary, Ms. Thorogood, who's a former student at the school. And she will connect them with their homeroom buddy. So the student from the homeroom will come to the office to meet the new student. They will escort them to homeroom. I think it's really important that the new student be able to join homeroom, where they can be introduced to their classmates. And that first day, they'll spend as much time as possible in class with their classmates, so that they can just get to know some friends. That's the most important thing. What do you want when you're a new student? You want to go home feeling like you have a friend and that you've met your teachers. And so In addition to that, we also spend some time making sure that they know how to use their iPad. So we provide them with the iPad, we connect them to all of the platforms that they will need. And then again, we put them back in class so that they can spend time with their peers. In those first few days, they will meet with our school counselor who will check in on them to make sure that they're feeling okay. Being new is an adjustment. They have their homeroom teacher who also knows that they are new and who will be checking in on them every single day. And so the model in middle school, it really is about fostering that sense of belonging that I was talking about. And we do that with every kid, the kid who has been here since they were 4 years old, or the kid who's brand new when they're 13 in grade 8. So they're well supported.
Thank you, Nathalie.
You're
I
welcome.
think the important thing for parents to understand is that we're very experienced with having students just start not just only in August, but throughout the school year. So whether a child is entering into junior school, like we had this morning, into 4th grade, they had an ambassador, a school buddy already waiting for them, as well as the students who entered into our senior school this afternoon. So lots of happy smiling faces right from day one starting at MIS today. We are running over just a couple of minutes, but I just want to let you know that in terms of applying to MIS, we normally do have a rolling programme of admission. So if you do have any questions about whether you would looking to apply for this current school year for some particular grade level, or for the next school year, or if indeed in the future, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with us, because we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. We'd be happy to arrange either a Teams call, a telephone call, or an in-person visit when we can welcome you to MIS and show you our wonderful school. Because we are just running over time now, I will just draw this virtual open day to a close. But again, if you do have any questions, please get in touch. Myself and our colleagues in the admissions office are all extremely experienced in our school, and I'm sure that we can answer any questions that you do have. So finally, I do hope that you found today's open day interesting, enjoyable, and very informative. And we very much look forward to hearing from you again. Many thanks for your time today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye.